All right. Two videos in one day. Anyway, this video is about the VSX by Slate. These are the headphones that you're supposed to use to mix. Anyway, I'm being a little goofy, but my honest take on these, I bought these, they're going back. There you go. You just saw the whole video. um, but let me give you my reasons for sending them back. I like the headphones. Some people thought that they felt cheap, but personally, I like the headphones. They felt comfortable on my head. They used the word, cans. You wear your cans on your ears. They sounded good. As far as they felt good. They sounded good on my ears, but I had watched a few videos, and one guy said, you should wear them for a while, listen to them, and then use them afterwards. And I listened to them for a little bit, and then I worked on a new project, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to record the project with the new cans, and I'm going to mix this project with them, and I'm going to see how these things work. Well, uh, just bluntly, I started mixing with them on, and when I got done with my first mix, it sounded bad. It just did not sound good. Um, and so, what my normal workflow is I use these Audio Technicas. I think these are the M20s, maybe the M30s. I can't remember which one's which. I have another set that are a little bigger or whatever. But I did the recording, I did the mix. It sounded bad. I put my old here. I back up here for a second. I made an MP3 and then went out and checked them to see how they'd sound. So when I took the MP3 out to my car to take a listen to it, I was just like, whoa, man, it just doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound right. And that's my normal workflow is I'll mix and I'll take the MP3 or whatever, and I'll take it out to my car and take a listen. Well, I mean, I worked on this. It was a really simple. It was just one guitar, one bass, drums, and a couple vocals, and it took me forever. I started, like I said, with the VSX, I can't say that right, headphones, and by the end of the mix, I had to can them completely and just not use them for the rest of that, because I would mix in one room like it suggests, and it was super quiet, and maybe my ears are bad, but I was having to turn up on um, my main to get it loud enough to where it sounded good in my ears so I can mix. And I'm not wanting it to be crazy loud, but I want to be able to hear it. But when I would bypass it, uh, the bypass um, kind of turned down the volume just a smidge. And but when I turned off the actual program itself in my DAW, the volume just would skyrocket. It was real loud, and that was before I was turning it up in my in on my main. I was just noticing that there was a crazy difference between whether the program was off or on, and I felt like because you're once I got a mix that I was satisfied with toward the end of this that mixing session, I was like, okay, I want to see what these headphones sound like, with the mix that I had finished. I put them on, and I went through the different rooms, and one room would sound pretty decent. The other room would sound kind of hollow or whatever, and then the car that it came with the basic would just sound real muffled. And I was so it just didn't work on the first recording. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give these one more chance to see how they work. And so I had a song that I'd already recorded. I'd already did the initial mixing. I was just waiting for a bass track to get done so I could add the bass. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this song with the VXS headphones on, and I'm gonna basically kind of start from scratch on this. And I had an old MP3 on my thumb drive of the original mix. Well, anyway, I took the mix that I did in the VXS headphones, put it on that same thumb drive, and I did two mixes because I had one with snare a little bit louder, and I was comparing. So I took that thumb drive down to my car, plop it in, and the first version comes on, and I'm like, man, this sounds really good. And then I realized that that was the version that I had done 8 months back without bass. And the next version comes on, which is the one with the lower snare, and then the third version comes on with the higher snare. And they both sounded muddy. It just, ugh. So anyway, I'm not saying that the product is bad. It didn't work for my workflow. It just, there wasn't, it slowed me down. I watched a number of different YouTubers. I tried to find some YouTubers that weren't affiliated with Slate Digital to see what their honest take was. And when I got done with the second mix, having to can the headphones all together, and I called Sweetwater and I'm like, dude, I got to return these. This just doesn't work. When I got done, I realized that they're not, for me, they're not good to mix with. They are not good to sit down and start your mix and get everything, as good as you can get. They are, in my opinion, a good reference headphone. Now, you could use the headphones for anything you wanted to, but the program itself, with the headphones, it was good to like get your mix really good as, like what you're used to doing, then put on those headphones, throw on the program, turn it on, and check your mix in different environments. For me, it did not function the way I was hoping. One of my biggest concerns, the biggest thing that I have to deal with, is that I don't have any sound dampening in my studio, and I don't have a sub. And one of my weaknesses, in my opinion, has always been trying to get an accurate bass sound, a really good low end bass sound. And I know the parallel compression. I know taking two bass tracks and taking your one bass track and compressing the daylights out of it, and taking all the highs out and then adding a little bit of gain to your other bass. I know all of that. I know how to get what they say is a really good bass sound, but I wasn't able to get it. And I do have to say, the one thing that the VXS headphones did have was a really good bass sound. So if that's what you're looking for, then it might be something, if you're just looking for reference headphones. But for me, I got a low end that I was kind of all right with, but everything else just didn't work. It was muddy, muffled. It sounded good in the program, but then I'd turn off the program and it didn't sound good. And I've got Yamaha. I can't think of the name of them. I think they're 5 inch, 5 inch speakers, um, and they're kind of brittle sounding in my opinion. But I would, I'd mix a little bit with those headphones on. Then I would like, okay, I want to see, where I'm at, see if this sounds good on my monitors. Whew, it just wouldn't sound good. And it was like I had to go back to the drawing board 3 or 4, I won't say 3 or 4 times, probably 10, 12 times, while I was using those headphones to try to get something that I was able to get using my old Audio Technicas, and just your normal mixing tools. So anyway, I know this is a long ramble for a product, but um, I wanted to give people an honest take on my experience with the headphones. And there's no real way to like show you, except playing you really bad mixes, which I've already gotten rid of. But for me, it's a no go. I mean, I own a small studio. This is what I do part time for fun, and my time is valuable. And I don't need to sit around and piddle with that program. It just everything sounded colored. You'd go from the different rooms and check in, and it just sounded colored. And when you turn the program off, it didn't sound as good as what it was supposed to sound like, what I was hearing. And I did several different versions of mix downs. I mixed down with the VSX program on, I mixed down with it off and checked, and there was no difference. They both sounded like booty. So anyway, with that being said, take care. Save your money. My suggestion, go out and buy another set of headphones or something, and see if that helps. If anybody has any suggestions on programs that they use to maybe simulate a mixing room, I know that Waves has a Abbey Roads 3 program that I might look into when it goes back on sale because I'm cheap. And there was another one that I heard about that Sonar Works, but that looked pretty expensive. So anyway, but hey, if anybody has any suggestions, I am all ears. Take care. God bless. Bye.